Sunday morning, rain is falling. You know what that means? It means it's time for Why I Want, the series where we go out there and talk about 2022 NHL Draft eligible prospects. Now, unfortunately, for those who have been paying attention, we are breaking our streak of talking about defensemen on the show. Elias Pettersson, Denton Mateychuk, David Jiricek, and then of course last week we had ourselves, who did we have last week on the show? Christian Kyrou, that's right. Either way though, we're breaking our streak of defensemen and talking about a forward instead, going over to the USNTDP to highlight a name that honestly, I'm kind of surprised to see slip all the way down the way he has, based off of the hype train that this guy had built up for himself in earlier years. Let's go over to Nebraska and talk about probably the, let's just say, the second player to potentially suit up in the NHL who will be from that state, the first one being Jake Guentzel, as we go over to the NTDP and talk about future University of Michigan Wolverine, Rutger McGroarty. Now, McGroarty's a guy whose name you've probably heard before, especially if you're a follower of prospects and young guys and all that stuff, because Rutger McGroarty's name has been a pretty popular one for the past few years. Even going as far back as 2018-19, where I made the video talking about the franchise generational prospects. Was that in 2018-19? I believe it was the year after. I'm not really too sure. But we made a video talking about our tier list of franchise generational elite caliber players. And lo and behold, for the 2022 ranking, you had yourself, of course, Wright, Savoie, Lambert in the franchise generational category. And then in the elite category, we had ourselves Morgan Geekie's brother Conor Geekie, as well as Rutger McGroarty himself. In fact, if you go back over to ISS Hockey's Facebook page, they have a post that they made back on December 24th, 2019. Here are ISS's top 10 2022 draft prospects. So this was during the 1920 season. This chart was coming out 2 years prior, and you can see that they had themselves a list of Wright, Lambert, McGroarty, Savoie, Fleming, Geekie, Casey, Luneau, Slafkovsky, and Ludwig Persson. Some of these names are still here. Others have dropped significantly. Rutger McGroarty is one of those names. He was ranked as highly as 3rd overall back in 2019, but if you go over to ISS and their ranking today, things are a little bit different. Let's go over McGroarty's rankings before we go over his player profile, etc. He has a consolidated ranking of 21 on Elite Prospects if you average everything out. Elite Prospects themselves has him at number 40. Future considerations are a little bit higher on him. They have him at 12. Bob McKenzie has him at 26. McKean's at 29. Same with Craig Button. He is the 22nd North American skater ranked by NHL Central Scouting, 27th by Sportsnet, 17th by Recruit. Dauber has him at 26. Draft Prospects Hockey has him at 14, so they're a lot more optimistic on him. Smart Scouting at 20, and the Puck Authority at 25. He's going to probably be a late-ish first, if not an early second-round pick, based off of the projections that we're seeing out of this guy. And when it really comes down to where he goes, a lot of it is going to fall down to how these teams view not just his potential, but more so the likelihood of him reaching the potential ceiling that he has. The reason I say that is because Rutger McGroarty is an 18-year-old March 30th birthday in 2004, born in Lincoln, Nebraska, as we said. He's 6 feet, 205 pounds as a left-handed center, and he's a guy who, this season, posted up 69 points in 54 games for the USNTDP. 35 goals, 34 assists. We'll get over into how he was able to get these points later in the video. He also wrapped up a performance for Team USA at the World Under 18s, where he had 9 points in 6 games played there too. He was the captain of the USA squad, and in a game against the Swedes in the final gold medal matchup, he went out there and absolutely dominated, forcing goals at his own hand, and it reflects properly in the numbers too. He had 8 goals in 6 games in the tournament as well. The reason why he was ranked so highly earlier on in his career, though, he was ranked 3rd overall by ISS in 2019, is because during that 2019-20 season, playing for the Oakland Junior Grizzlies U14 AAA team, he was an absolute stud, getting 160 points in 63 games played. 82 goals, 78 assists. Sure, you could say the numbers are great, and you could also say that there are other players in this league who have produced numbers like that in the past. But at such a young age, McGroarty's goal-scoring ability was really what stood out comparative to other prospects in the same age range. He was just able to fire it from anywhere and snipe it from anywhere too. He projected so early on as a top-tier potential goal scorer that his name was included along the likes of Lambert, Savoie, and Shane Wright as far back as 2019. As the years went on, though, you could see more and more of the goal-scoring touch still being there, but also other aspects of his game needing to be rounded out as well. Sure, he had his very good highlights, but there were some other things that were holding him back that are a little bit more concerning than the concerns that other prospects in this range of the draft have. Let's go over onto the HockeyWriters.com because what Matthew Zader did was he compiled a whole bunch of quotes from NHL scouts about Rutger McGroarty. This is what Paul Zook of Smot Scouting said. The true definition of a power forward, McGroarty can utilize his large, powerful frame to muscle defenders off the puck while at the same time regain possession and dish the puck off to a teammate. He is quite talented at making defenders commit turnovers in their own zone, and he has the skill and knowledge to make them pay the price for it. McGroarty has quite impressive vision on the ice, especially in the offensive zone when it comes to making plays. Often he's able to hit a teammate with a seam pass for a tap-in goal, which many other players wouldn't have the skill or gall to attempt. He's able to do it while oozing confidence and is usually rewarded with a primary assist. Austin Broad says on Future Considerations, in my opinion, his shot is the best individual tool he has. He has the most dangerous shot out of all the 2022 draft-eligible players I've seen thus far in this draft class. He has the triple threat in terms of his shot, his deftness to deceive goalies with his ability to release a shot from any angle, and his accuracy to pick his spot and generates the power that will beat goalies from anywhere. Nick Richard of Dauber says McGroarty is one of the most complete players in the 2022 draft class. Good size, skates fairly well, competes hard, and has plenty of offensive skill. He blends a power game with finesse, able to take the puck to the net and finish with his soft hands. His shot is heavy and comes off his stick quickly, making him a scoring threat on the inside as well as from the perimeter. We'll get to that point a little bit later, though. McGroarty is a powerful skater who forces his way around defenders and keeps his feet moving to effectively hunt pucks on the forecheck, but his feet can be a bit heavy at times. He also worked in the skating throughout the summer, according to Adam Nightingale, the U18 coach that McGroarty has had. He is committed to it, and it is improving. I've never seen him lose a puck race or puck battle because of his skating, and I think because his mind is so good that he's able to play the game fast. He's a power forward that's a really smart player. He's strong, got a good release, sees the ice, and he's competitive. Skating has been one of the bigger knocks on Rutger McGroarty based off of the scouts that I've seen. He doesn't play with the highest amount of pace possible, and you could definitely question the projectability of his footwork and mobility, especially heading into the next few years, but it's his offensive tools that you're going to be drafting this guy for. You're drafting him because he's a really good, reliable passer. You're drafting him because his shot, heavy as it is, can really help him just snapping pucks left, right, and center, top cheese, bar down and all, on the rush, on the power play, and from the perimeter. Another thing that's been noted about McGroarty, especially by Will Scouching, is that McGroarty really does just shoot from everywhere. Even though he does have a great shot, he is a very high-volume shooter that will just get pucks towards the goal from all over the ice. Now, you could say that's somewhat of a good thing because, hey, he's getting pucks on net, he's shooting. But there is a little bit of a question that you have to ask when you say, okay, sometimes when you shoot a puck, it gets swallowed up by a goaltender and he stops the puck. Other times you can shoot a puck and it'll get deflected off the goalie into the corner where the opponent team can just take it back and start the rush the opposite way. Sure, getting pucks on goal is usually a good thing, but there are some moments where I feel like waiting for a better opportunity and not just firing the puck from wherever you are in the ice could be a beneficial skill to learn too. If McGroarty is able to round out his offensive mind, read plays 2-3 steps ahead before he even takes the initial shot, I think it would really help him out in opening up passing lanes, generating more high-danger scoring chances, and in turn, getting more points. But at the end of the day, this is a player who, if you see in the middle to late first round and you already have some other really good, talented offensive forwards on your squad, you could play a Rutger McGroarty beside these guys and have him feeding pucks left, right, and center, or vice versa. If you have a really good offensive system already, a McGroarty could be a very nice complementary add to your middle six forward core who can just put points up on the board. This guy was supposed to be a top 3 pick based off of what scouts were saying 3 years ago. But as the years went on, we saw more out of the other prospects in this year's crop of players, and we started to see less of McGroarty as well, plus more of the negatives to his game: mobility, patience in the offensive zone, to some extent work ethic off the puck in the defensive zone too. 2022. But overall, this is a really interesting prospect that I think could be a huge steal depending on if he fulfills the potential that he has, because in my opinion, it is indeed sky high. So, talk in the comments all your thoughts about Rutger McGroarty and where he could go in this year's NHL draft. If you are a fan of the Michigan Wolverines, and hey, this guy's going to be heading over there for 2022-2023, you guys got a lot of good players suiting up for your squad over the next few months here, so it's going to be cool to see how he develops over there. Let me know in the comments if you want to draft McGroarty, and if so, where your team is in the draft, where you would want him to go. I hope you enjoyed this Juraj 99, and bye.